Hi, and welcome to Hoffman's Hot Seat. I'm Tom Hoffman with One-to-One Media, coming to you from the Gartner Customer 360 Summit in Los Angeles. I'm here today with Katy, Chief Marketing Officer at Lithium. Today we'll be discussing opportunities for companies to build their own online communities. And Katy, thanks so much for joining us while we're here.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
It's great. So what are some opportunities you'd cite or examples of companies that are building online communities to engage with customers?
Well, the most prominent example is Best Buy, who has been here on the agenda at the Gartner show. And where Best Buy started was just listening in on blogs, forums, et cetera, in their sport organization. And in 2008, decided they wanted their own customer network online. So they built a community with Lithium. Today, I believe there's about 2.5 million users on that community. They answer questions about products, support questions, help and how-to. And as Gina shared the case study, it's about a $5 million benefit for Best Buy, and they've deflected 18% of their support calls by using the community platform.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Similar examples we've been sharing on the floor, FICO. Also, a lot of calls coming in about their credit scores. You wouldn't think naturally there's a customer community that's feeling impassioned about their credit scores.
Sure.
But FICO can't answer how to improve your score. They can only let you know what your score is and why they arrived at that. So FICO deployed something that really was designed to eliminate that headache of waiting on the phone only to be told, we can't really tell you that. So that community today has about 300,000 members, and they ask each other questions, how to handle some of the issues in the credit process. And what FICO did is start measuring what those customers can do or spend with FICO more than their average consumer. And there's about a 65% change between a community member and just an average FICO buyer.
That's dramatic.
Yeah, it is. It is. And so we have a range of B2B and B2C deployments where companies are thinking about how to engage more openly with their customers and really do a few things. One is, make sure that they're getting the support they need, make sure they're informed about buying new products and other products, and then in turn becoming advocates for the company out on the social web.
Sure. So are there, for companies that have not gotten involved with developing online communities, what would you recommend as some starting points?
Well, you have to start. No, doing nothing is not an option, I think. So one of the things that we've been sharing on the floor is we recently bought a company called Scout Technology, which has a listening and monitoring application. And you can go out on the social web and see what your customers are saying about you, your brand, your competitors. And the one thing that Scout shows you is you can't do nothing. This conversation is happening with or without you. So I think listening is a great place to start to be motivated. The second is you can use your existing communities like Facebook. We just announced our integration with Facebook today, a Lithium community for Facebook, and it's about reacting to communities that already existed.
Sure.
And those can be steps to being ready to take the plunge into your broader corporate community.
Right. Oh, that's great. So, given some conversations you've had with customers that have a little bit of experience under their belts, what are some mistakes to avoid when developing and then executing upon online communities?
Well, Lithium's been doing this for 10 years, so unfortunately we've seen our fair share of maybe missteps. But what I can say is where we see the most successful deployments are, first, not just tackling it from a technology problem. That's a huge conversation on the floor at Gartner, that this is social CRM is not just about technology. It's about understanding how to engage with the social customer and think about it from a strategy. And the second thing is where Lithium is outstanding at this, and what we get excited about is you can't just build a community network. You don't just throw a party and people show up.
Right.
So we really have built a philosophy and technology around the influencers. How do you find the Tom Hoffman that's going to go tell 20 more people about the company and get them engaged and answer questions, et cetera. So if you were to look at Best Buy, for example, a cadre of mavens, if you will, are doing 30% of the activity. And so one of the things we know how to do really well is you've got to find the people that are going to make the company community go. So I think that's a big place. People think that if they build it, it will come.
So influencers then? Or?
Influencers, yeah. So we call them super users or influencers.
Sure.
And often people just say, if I put the technology out there, the community will go. That doesn't quite happen. And then I think the last piece is having a champion internally. This isn't just a fly-by-night project. I think companies have done pretty well just getting going with Twitter and Facebook and those initiatives, but they don't really scale. So you really need to find a champion in the organization that's thinking more broadly about your customer strategy, and that, I think, can really take your customer network to the next level.
And someone who's able to drive that forward too, obviously, right?
We'll drive it forward, and also, there's going to come a time quickly, if we're not there already, that these are great technologies, but what are they delivering for my company? What are the metrics, the ROI? And so you need to have, I think, someone that's not just thinking about it from an operational perspective, but strategically, what is it doing for revenue, loyalty, competitive differentiation? How is this moving my top line or bottom line, as the case may be? And,
right.
And that is a wider spread conversation in the enterprise than just building out a community tool.
Excellent. Well, Katy, thanks for spending some time with us today.
Happy to. Thank you.
Great.